your new Toyota Starlet Cross. Own it.
iDiskiTV powered by World Sports Betting. iDiski Times co.za. Siqhwabele izandla ke kwiqela leMamelodi Sundowns lisondela ngakwindebe yokuba zintshatsheli zelizwe eMzantsi Afrika ngamatyela amaninzi elandelelana libetha ke iqela laseMpuma Koloni iChippa United. iChippa ke akhange iphekuze nenqindi kuthiwa kukuvika ngesizulu ifike yavika iChippa nangona ke singenayo bagxeka kuyaphi kuba kaloku akulinganwa elinye iqela likhulu elinye lincinci kodwa ke singambuza umqeqeshi into yoba ibelithini icebo lakho kulo mdlalo into yoba at least ufumana noba lenqaku linye sebonile kwisiqingatha sesibini into yoba ebenalo icebo ezama urhagame khonkotha unkabi kodwa ke akhange akwazi ukuluma kwezi iziyelo phantsi kwakora ke uCraig Martin bekufanele uba nguye oze nenqaku kwisiqingatha sesibini kwiqela leChippa United. uCraig Martin ke uphiwe imana ngumqa esandleni uwile kodwa ke wadlala ngumkhunyu kulanjwa uCraig Martin. But to Mamelodi Sundowns, I wish I can say this shit in Setswana and all the other languages, but I can only say it in my language and half sketchy in Sesotho and so on and so forth. I'm next to a Seswati by blood, but not a Swati. Speak, can you say shit in Swati?
Yeah, no. Mina. You know, Mr. Kyo, there's something interesting.
Say some shit like that.
No, but you know what? There's something important to say. You know, like there's people from Soweto, who are Amazulu, Amaswati, but they've never really left the Soweto because the grandfather of the grandfather. And so I'm
most
one
of
those.
this province is like that. That people are not rooted in a language, in a sense. But that's why Amazulu. As a case because there's a clash in language. And then Amaxhosa from Cape Town, where I'm from, we are being undermined by Amaxhosa from Eastern Cape because there's a clash in language because they can speak the language better than us. I mean, I just learned it in school, and of course I love languages as well. What did you make of the game, sir?
Shapunjan, Mr. Nkeu.
Yes, sir.
I think ngibulisa wena, ngibulisa Chamuchasta, ngibulisa technical tire. Manje legend, ngifaka niches legend.
Mr. So-and-so.
Hey, Mr. Nkeu, you never had the privilege of ukufaka iskipa sakaTsose Pirates.
Well, he gave me a jersey.
Hey, namhlanje ngicela ukuzizwisa man.
Mr. So-and-so.
Royalty.
He gave me a Sundowns jersey number 13, so I'll keep that.
Yeah, no.
I'd like if I could get Neil Tovey's jersey, any jersey, because he's my hero, and then Brian Baloyi also is my hero. So if I can get those, then yeah.
Yeah, no, Mina, Mr. Nkeu, when you're talking about Top Villagers, Mr. Nkeu, to be honest with you, he's an idol of mine. He was
Your father was a Pirates
fan. Namanje, Gunes Tombe Sakatso, if Elentuze. My father used to love Top Villagers. The little Napoleon.
He was a fabulous player. So.
Yeah, no, fabulous player. One of the best players we've
Unfortunately,
ever
I can't wear those jerseys. Because he never played for my team, so.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But I loved so.
Oh, my God. But Mr. Nkeu, what an impact that he had in South African football. But anyway, Mr. Nkeu, congratulations to Mamelodi Sundowns. Congratulations to Miguel Cardoso. 18 games, 2 draws, 2 losses and a draw. I think he's been 5 months into the country. I think one of the...
Is it 5?
Yeah, it's 5 now. It came in December, so it's probably 6.
Oh, damn, like it feels like he's been here for longer.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying one of the biggest credits I'll give him is to, away from the tactics and the structural things that he's doing within the club, the wins, the things that he's doing well, I think getting a dressing room to be behind him is the biggest thing as a coach. I'm a development coach. I know what it means to get the dressing room now. Because Nkulego, you look at the details in that Mamelodi Sundowns. Ralph Ranieri says pressing is almost like pregnant. It's almost like you're pregnant. It's either you're pregnant or not. Pregnancy is like that.
You can't have press.
Yeah, you can't have press, and you can see his team. There's 2 things that are very identical. It's the counter press and the position play. Sometimes you can see that the team, in terms of us, when we lose the ball, we're kicked to win the ball. We don't allow the opponent to pick a pass behind because defending a line is very high. So we don't allow them to pick passes. We don't allow them to. We always play on the second phase. We press the ball carrier, and those are things that the team has not lost. You look at the comfort on the ball, the control on the game. I think the introduction Jaden Adams, no Marcelo Allende in the first half. The reason why it took us time to score in the first 35 minutes, if you check, I felt that we were looking for control. And in my opinion, bekufuneka penetration. That's why Mkhulise, Neo Mayema, Mshisha, I was expecting them to play in this game. Because Ucheka starting lineup says Chippa United, but 4-5-1. They're playing Martins, I forgot the other boy's name, but 4-5-1. They're playing wingers that don't cross the ball. They're playing wingers that don't adlala njengama fullback. Martins has a history of being a fullback. That's why babeke Uteto, babeke Ufilenda, babeke Uma Olentuza,
Azola Matrosa.
They went with defensive attacking players because they were worried about Mamelodi Sundowns. Mangotia check at that structure, they were very deep. It was very difficult for Mamelodi Sundowns to break them. That's why I initially said Ujaden looks confused on the pitch. Why? He's more playing as a second striker because he doesn't want to occupy he says occupy Utebza, because Utebza today was so good, more especially in the first half. He didn't complicate the game. He allowed the press, under pressure, and then he would play that forward pass. Marcelo Allende obviously does what he does every game, recycle the ball, love Ujaden. But now he comes up in the second half where now there's space. He can pick a pass, he can find Abu Matthews who's trying to find his form. Salis didn't have a very good first half, but finds a special pass in the second half. You're looking at the movement, Renas is finding his confidence again. I think he's got 12, 13 goals now in the season.
Yeah, him and Ribeiro are in an interesting race because they are in a race for the Golden Boot. One is on 13 goals, one is on 12 as well. It's interesting that the top goal scorers are fighting and they are in the same team as well.
Yeah, Nkulego, it's very important when you look at that structure, Sakatabo September. For me, coaches, more especially in this country, more especially black young coaches that will still want to prove themselves, you need to convince. That's the first thing. You really need to be good. Doesn't matter if you're a former professional player. For me, in the whole game, I did not see his identity as a coach. What represents him as a man, as a coach, away from the club. Every coach...
Well, I could argue that what he did in terms of defensive football, that's his identity. Other people who've played against him, he was a defender, a centre-back at SuperSport United. And of course, SuperSport United with the reputation of Gavin Hunt, that negative type of vibe. So maybe that's who he is. Because if you look at his substitutions in the second half, you could have argued that, well, why didn't you play those attacking players?
Those were supposed to be his exit point. You look at Umatros on the right-hand side, he looks very exciting. It's just that the end product, yes, we need more end product, but it looks exciting. You look at the Boyufile and a very direct winger. I think he could have used them. Maybe play that defensive system, and then use the players in midfield to pick those passes, to find those players to break. But even that pass, there was no pass to play to Abu Craig Matthews, Abu Craig Martins. Because Abu Craig Martins, I don't want to say they are not intelligent, because they are professional players, but they don't have this intelligence ye ball leyo ukuzicreate space yokuthi okay ngiyabona ukuthi ngimakiwe side nathi ngene ngaphakathi or ngirane behind. They don't have that intelligence, but it's important to speak about Tulibusa Nkuleko. Congratulations to you.
Before you do that, sorry, I need to ask you, there's something interesting about the coach of the season. It's going to be an interesting debate, and it's triggered by you saying a coach has been there for 5 months. It is possible this year, so usually I will never argue for this, because in the rules Betway Premiership Coach of the Season is based on what you did in the Betway Premiership, in the league. Now with Sundowns, you had one coach at the beginning of the season, you had another coach at the halfway stage or 40% through the season. Now, if you look at how many matches he would have played and how many matches he won, okay, cool. At the end, he lifted the trophy. This is one debatable year where other people are going to argue for a different coach to be coach of the season, because they will say, if we look at his statistics, or Coach Miguel, we will say maybe, 18 matches in the league or whatever, 14 matches in the league.
I think it's 31 games played.
Yeah, but for Sundowns, the coach of the season is Betway Premiership Coach of the Season.
MTN 8 Netbank
Cup. No, Betway Premiership. That's why it's always won by whoever won the league. It's in the... What do you call this? It's in the specifications. It's in the rules of the award. Betway Premiership. Before it was DSTV Premiership. So that means we are only looking at the league. So we are in a very interesting position where number 2 coach, it would be argued for him to play 30 games, because Yanu Jose would have played 30 games. He didn't play half and half. And he would have had more wins than Miguel Cardoso, for example. I'm not arguing for Jose. I always say give it to the coach who wins, because that's what the specification is saying. By implication, when you call it Betway Premiership Coach of the Season, Betway Premiership becomes a league. It's a league. That's the Betway Premiership. There's nothing else. So you have to look at the performances in the league. We are now at an interesting point where we will have to look at Coach Wako, Miguel Cardoso, Coach Jose Rivero, and maybe a coach who lifted a team who was at number 14 on the verge of relegation and put them at number 7. It's one of those rare seasons, because the rules of coach of the season are limiting.
Yeah.
We have to look at only in the league. Now, in the league, your coach would have won less matches.
Yes.
Just because he got here halfway through the season. I want you to wrap your head around that. I don't want you to pick a winner,
Yeah.
but what do you think about that? Because usually the winner will always, and I'll always argue with people who say the winner is the one who won the league because that's the name of the title.
Yeah, you know what, Mr. Nkewe, it's actually a very interesting conversation because my belief is the winner of the coach of the season needs to be the league coach, the one that wins the league. But now this one is a very interesting one because you have to consider the fact that Orlando Pirates were 20 points behind the Mamelodi Sundowns. They come onto the season where they want to awaken the giant, Orlando Pirates, where everyone believes they want to win the league. They get onto the start of the season, they win 7 games in a row. It's very important to mention those things, where they had a brilliant start in Kulego. There was a period in the season where they had 10 games, 11 games on a trot where they were winning football games. I know that cup competitions don't matter in this instance,
Yeah, they don't count them at all.
But him winning the MTN 8, him reaching the final of the Nedbank Cup semi-final.
It's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant. But
to this discussion.
Yes, it's irrelevant, but it's important to mention that, Nkulego, because
It's irrelevant when you discuss it. When they say the best black person, we don't include a white person. I'm just making a stupid example. The best woman, that means we don't include a man. In this criteria, it's DSTV Premiership Coach of the Season. Now, the way that those journalists, it's going to happen like this actually. Those journalists will be at a round table. There's an evil person that will come up with a reason why someone must win. Because usually...
Like a penny, for example.
Yeah, exactly. That was evil. I told the journalist who we work with, I said, what you did was evil. Because at that time, it was Coach Mangoba and Coach Rulani. They didn't have half a season.
Yeah.
But with this one, it's going to be interesting because someone, and I know they are constructing this, I know how they think. I've been around them enough. Some of them are evil. Someone is going to say, Coach Miguel Cardoso's coached 17 matches.
Yes.
And he won, because we're only looking at the league.
Yeah.
17 matches, maybe he won 15 or something like that, 14, whatever, drew this and drew that. However, Coach Jose Rivero, he coached 30 matches, or 28 matches. Actually, all of us are going to 28 matches because of Royal AM. Then they will say, out of those 28 matches, Coach Jose Rivero won 21 of them, for example.
Yeah.
And therefore, this is why. Because it's going to be difficult to say Coach Cardoso won the league. He won the league in terms of he was a coach that was there.
Yeah.
It'll be on his CV. But when they break it down, they might just look at who won more matches.
Yeah, because that is important, Kulego. Number of goals, number of matches played, number of games won. And also it's important
Even about Coach of the Month, they might look at that. How many times you won. And the coach... Miguel Cardoso was not there in the first 3 months to win those quarters.
And the quarters as well, it's important. That's why they made those quarters in the season.
Yeah.
Who wins more quarters, who has the most clean sheets. I think they will look at the little details. But I feel that this time around, it will be very difficult for a Sundowns coach to win it. And specifically because of those reasons. I think Jose Rivero, him getting closer, because he's probably going to be 6 points away from Sundowns with more wins, and as well as winning games of consequences. I think winning a derby has an influence.
No, it shouldn't. It's 3 points.
It might have an influence as well.
I think where you are right is they'll just look at how many matches did this one win. And even worse, they will just have to go to win percentage.
Nkulego, but it's unfair. The winning coach, the coach that wins the league, I don't think it should even be a conversation, in my opinion.
That's why every year it's like that. Every year, with the exception of Penny McCarthy, every year it's like that. Because the criteria is limiting. It doesn't look at Carling, Black Label, or MTN or anything. It says Betway Premiership Coach of the Year.
Nkulego, the reason why it's important to give it to the winning coach is because it's a sign that you were consistent home and away for 28 games. And you became the best in that season for 9 months.
Miguel did not play 28 games. That's what they're going to say.
That's what they're going to say. And you can argue that. That's why it's something, it's called for a conversation. But for me,
it's good to discuss it now.
It's good to discuss it.
I'm introducing it now because I don't want people to be surprised when it happens. Because it's going to happen. I can already preempt that it's going to happen. It's going to be one of those rare years where the one who wins the league does not win. Because he got there halfway through the season.
No, it's for me, I just feel like I'm not choosing a winner now. But I do see Roger as a front runner based on the fact that he's probably going to play more games. I think he's going to have more wins than Miguel. Because Miguel, I think he's like, we got 2 more games in Kolego, and I think he's played 18. He's won 15 games. I think 2 losses, 1 draw. I think Ukhoje will have more wins than that because I think Orlando Pirates will not drop points from now going forward when you look at their fixtures. But
maybe win percentage as you wrap up.
Yeah,
maybe it might go to win percentage. To equalize it,
Yeah.
it might go to who won the percentages of higher matches. And maybe that's where Coach Miguel could say, I won maybe 60% of the games
Yeah.
or 70%, and then Uchoza Rivero could be at 65 maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get to that point. But anyways, you can wrap it up.
Yeah, Mr. Nkeo, it's very important for me to mention a couple of things. I wanted to speak about Ulibusa. Congratulations to Ulibusa and Mr. Nkeo for winning the man of the match. And one of the reasons why I want to speak about him is because he's brought the best out of Opri. I think Opri plays his best when he plays with a cover. More especially centre back. I think he added an extra player in midfield who was absolutely brilliant. Congratulations to Malubonga Koza as well. I think the boy has had a good season. Mamelodi Sundowns. Dennis Onyango almost makes a mistake. Mr. Nkeo, very comfortable on the ball. He's learning even at his big age. But I have to speak about Stanley Nwabali. I said 3 months ago, Mr. Nkeo, we've got a goalkeeping crisis in this country. And for me, I'm Zulu Junior, Tibakona, goalkeeper, and so forth. I'm coach development. Kids don't want to be goalkeepers. They are not even inspired to be goalkeepers. Everyone wants to be a Haaland. Everyone wants to be a Ronaldo. I think we need to bring back that love.
It's normal. I mean,
Yeah.
throughout the history of football, keeper. Like,
Yeah.
it's like whoever is in the line to be a goalkeeper, they become a goalkeeper. But not everyone wants to be a goalkeeper.
The one goalkeeper, even at Kaizer Chiefs, that I can really think of, because I know that they are pushing this Stanley Nwabali guy. No able to lentus. Who's this boy?
Kwaiba.
There's players, Mr. Nkeo, that need to generate and gain experience in the league. And that's when they call you a seasoned player. For you to even be a seasoned player, you need to at least play 50 games in the league. And there's certain players, Haungkota, Erilem Fukeng is an exception. That's why I had said Kaizer Chiefs is in the right space. I'm sorry to bring Kaizer Chiefs into. They're in the right space to sign those 19-year-olds, loan them out so that Batole that experience. You will find Erilem Fukeng once in a while. Right, Nkole? You will find Erilem Fukeng once in a while. And this is something that I'm saying with these teams to say, for me, that's exactly what we want to see.
We're still keeping up with the point of goalkeepers. You were going somewhere with that.
Yeah, goalkeepers. Thank you. Trail of thought. I was losing that, by the way, for the first time in a very long time. I was losing my trail
You're a
of thought.
brother from Orlando. Let's wrap it up. Justice is already fed up.
Yeah, Mr. Nkeo, the goalkeeper, right? Goalkeeping. So you build, right? These boys, you loan them out. For me,
You were saying that there's a crisis of goalkeepers.
Yeah.
Where what you owe the audience is to tell them what must happen.
Yeah.
How should we solve that problem?
you know what, Mr.
Because
Nkeo?
there is a shortage of good goalkeepers.
And there's only a few goalkeepers we have in this country that are exceptional. We've got too many foreign goalkeepers that come into this country. The standard has decreased goalkeeping. And the best way to improve that is to ensure that we start having goalkeepers, ex-professional goalkeepers, to have their own schools. Develop the love. Make them understand. Because we check on the requirements of what a goalkeeper is now. A goalkeeper needs to almost be a playmaker.
They can play as well.
They need to play. So those requirements are so important. I was -1. So that is important for people for us to mention, because a goalkeeper is the foundation. With a very good goalkeeper, you can build the foundation of a team, Mr. Nkeo.
All right, there you go. Thank you very much to Lindo Pep. I would like you guys to continue that conversation. You're coach of the season. I've introduced it to you. I've explained to you. I'm not talking shit when I say the criteria is very limited. It's not an opinion. I know it. It's Betway Premiership coach of the season. And then Betway Premiership defender of the season. That means we are only looking at the league in all of these criteria, because these cup competitions have their own awards as well. MTN 8, last man standing, MTN 8, this and that, Nedbank Cup player of the tournament. So that's where the separation comes from, to say the the coach will have his own award as well. And because Sundowns have a coach initially at the initial part of the season, maybe there's a case for the number 2. I'm not saying that should be the case, but maybe for the first time in a long time, we'll have a number 2 who wins. We'll find out. iDiskiTV, iDiski Times, was sports betting. For breaking news, go to iDiskiTimes.co.za.
Shapunjan bafowethu igama lami Lindo Pep, the best analyst in the country. Please don't forget to subscribe to iDiski TV. Tanko.
This is Bongane Benedict Villagazi, they call me so. Niyazi bafethu, I'm a coach for life. They are back in winning ways. Please, siyacela ukuthi subscribe iDiski TV.